These this is again, weird methods of carry, traditional ones and some not so traditional. These actually learned from my mom. They're not criminal in nature, although my mom was kind of hood rat. She would take a bandana, take a paring knife or a knife of any kind that she was going to carry. She would stick the point into the bandana and basically do like a twirl like that, just to guard the point. Then she would just wrap the rest of it, slide down the pants, leave this exposed, and carry it like this. Some of you noticed that every now and then I carry a bandana like that. Be careful what color you carry, of course. It might be in gangland. But this was one of the ways that she would just quickly improvise a sheath for her knives. You can extract, or you can grab the whole thing and actually conceal the fact that it's a knife until it's too late. So again, she would grab the knife, take the tip, twirl it a bit to kind of hide the fact that it's a knife. Stuff it down the pants. She would need it. She would take the bandana out and or take the knife out by itself. Again, it's a good way to kind of carry both. It's an interesting way. Another way, and this is a bit more old school and dangerous, is utilizing the t-shirt stuff. It's very traditional. Mostly women would do this with when they were wearing some sort of blouse or an apron, so it's kind of related to that. Old school. It is dangerous to carry like this because you can fucking stab yourself. So again, it was more of a utilitarian thing that they would do just because they were lazy. And when they would need it, they would grab onto the top of it and basically let that thing just drop into their hands. This is utilitarian wise. I'm not talking about this being a shank, but I'm just kind of sharing some of these small little details that I've not seen a lot of people talk about. A Turner LLC Elvia design, sheath made by Jer Hooligan, leather sheath, single tracker Dan clip. You can see here. Why I like clips? Well, I like clips because you can attach them to anywhere on your body, specifically anywhere when you can clip something on. That's a pretty good place to clip it. How I carry these specifically on my person, it's right on the belt line. Now, my right hand has been injured several times. I still shoot with it, and I like reserving this part of my body and this hand for shooting specifically. So whenever I carry a blade, whenever I carry something of this nature, I usually carry it towards my left. Now, there's a few schools of thought there as far as carrying on your left, as far as extracting backwards or extracting forwards and down. I'm more of an extracting backwards guy, specifically because of the knife design and the ways I've carried knives traditionally. So if you notice, most Japanese, this is actually influenced by Japanese stuff that I was exposed to, and also by just utilitarian stuff that I've seen people that actually work with knives do, right? There was a butcher that I knew that worked on the pig farm that I grew up in, and he would always carry his knives kind of this way, to extract them this way, he would say, to keep the points away from his vitals and also to be able to extract backwards and lunge forward. He was a weird, creepy guy, but he was a very big influence. If you notice Japanese, the samurai would carry around in this orientation as well. So, knife clip. I usually go for actually grabbing cloth over belt. And if you notice, the handle just ends up naturally tucked. Doesn't get in the way of anything. It doesn't print. It doesn't peek out from the bottom like other methods. And to extract, it's pretty quiet because of the leather, and it's a pretty good way of kind of carrying some of these things. A lot of people want to hurry up with putting the knife back in. Don't hurry up with that, just like you wouldn't hurry up putting a gun back in play. But focus on being able to extract quickly, and when the end of the event is there, focus on being able to put it back in place. if you can. So don't focus on speed when it comes to putting it away. Does that make sense? Again, finding ways of carrying in multiple positions, and again, knife, this specific method with a clip on it, you can do it for actually utilizing the belt for some of it if you want to. Carrying it in that way. And if you notice, most of my extractions end up with the blade facing upwards. Why? Restraining positions where somebody's trying to grab onto me or trying to grab onto something. This is what I have to work with. That's what I have to work with. And going behind somebody and processing him around, or processing an arm, processing a hand, or just going for a straight stab into vitals is all available with that type of carry method. So knife clips. Okay, again, a lot of people have talked about different ways of carrying the clinch pick. There's a bunch of methods out there. I'm not the guy to kind of go into all of that. I'll show you a weird one, specifically a weird one because of the tethering mechanism that I like kind of going for. It's a very good tether for things. Dental floss, you know, unwaxed, unflavored dental floss, very good for suturing as well, so it's pretty good all-around thing to carry with you. Also, dental hygiene. But an interesting way that this is actually a criminal method of carrying around sheaths, and something I go into when I go into the motel armorers course, and when I teach people that are traveling abroad to make sheaths and what they would make. A few makers out there put tethers on there that are made out of Kevlar cord. It's a cool option, but it's hard to rip off you if you have to. So how these work is basically to turn your sheath, this turns into a tether for your sheath, so when you pull the knife, it retains the sheath itself. So the tether acts as an anchor to your body. So when you extract the knife, right, you have a way of holding it in place. Does that make sense? Now, why dental floss over something else? Well, first off, the carry method, you can go downward like most of the traditional guys that do some of Craig Douglas material go for, to be able to extract any way, shape, and form. It's a pretty good solid way. Another thing I like about specifically the flat version of this knife is that you can basically flip it underneath your belt to go really completely low profile, and when you need it, you can flip it down. I personally carry it in this configuration myself, with the handle over like this, but that's just me. You know, I like being able to extract something of this in this orientation myself, but that's just me. Why dental floss? Well, if you find yourself in a place where you might get into more trouble than needed with carrying a knife of any kind, you want to have the ability to not be attached to it. So dental floss is pretty good at completely ripping it completely off if you have to, and dumping it. Again, it's a weird, unique way of carrying it. It has a different mindset behind it. Non-permissive specific, like this is what I kind of specialize in. And dental floss is, you know, frangible, so you can rip it off if you have to. If you're really worried about retention, go with a clip. If you are not that worried about retention, if you want something you can have with you and maybe ditch if you have to, dental floss.